All right, guys. Our model today is one of my favorite people in the world. My nephew. One of the last times I was doing a video, he was with me filming, and he said, "Uncle Ray, I want to be in a video." I said, "You know what, man? We might can make that happen." So today, guys, we're going to be doing a bald fade on Mr. Bryce. And Bryce has great hair, great texture, and his hair fades very, very smoothly. So I think it's a great tutorial. Number one, because we have a lot of clients that have little boys, as well as you can translate this into any age male, as well as any of your natural clients who desire maybe closer looks. And the techniques, guys, are just truly universal. So here we go, guys. We're using our trimmers and we're creating a bald look. Now, generally we would use the trimmers, guys, to be able to create lines, but they are sharp enough without hurting. You can tell that he's gonna move around just because he's little, but they've been modified to where they won't hurt the client, right? So we're gonna create this really sharp line. Somebody would say create this bold line. Now, fading, guys, is really about placing in lines and removing the lines with the clippers and the guards. Remember that I said that because we'll be referring to that throughout the tutorial. I'm going to use my duster, guys, to kind of remove all of the hair just to create this very first fade line. And that's going to be the line, guys, that actually when we remove that, it's going to blend down into the bald fade. Now, guys, notice the different notches on the side. When I go open, that's closed, right? That's open, right? Closed, okay? Open. By having the clippers to be open, you leave more of the hair on, right? So we're gonna go open right now on the clipper with no guard, and we're gonna cut up about 1 inch on top of that first line to create a new line. Remember, this is no guard, but the clippers are now open. So they're gonna leave a slight shadow, right? And that shadow is gonna be the last section that we fade out to blend into, you know, total bald fade at the bottom. So this is a very crucial part of the haircut. And we're going in, making sure that we keep things super clean. So we're going over and over just to make sure that we remove all the hair. One of the main challenges with fading is just that, making things look even and seamless. So we're going over it quite a few times to create this new line. So now we have two. We have the line at the bottom that's going to be removed, and now we have this new line that blends into the thicker of the hair at the top. Now we're placing on, remember, guys, the number 1, and now we're going to create one more section. Now it's also open, but now it has a guard on it. So you could imagine it's another whole notch up. Still going to take hair off, but it's going to be darker than the line that we place below it that doesn't have a guard on it. I hope you guys are following. So we're just going to create these gradual planes of hair, right? This graduation or this gradation of blending, and then we're just going to remove the lines. And that is how you can truly fade the hair. Doesn't matter if you start from bald or if you start at the very bottom section is 1 inch or 2 inch. All we're doing is putting in lines and then fading them out. So now we have 1, 2, and 3 lines. Okay, guys, we have the line at the bottom that's right below, right above the ear. 1 inch above that, we have the line that was created with no guard. Remember to keep things open. Sometimes the clippers will try to adjust. And then we have this line that's truly created at the very top, connecting the fullness of his hair at the top to the sides of the hair. So now we're going to place on the number 2 guard. All right, so the bottom 1 inch has no guard, the section above it has on the number 1 guard, and now the number 2, and we're going to use the number 2 to blend together this fullness that is kind of this middle plane between the 1 guard section and the top of his. I'm distracted right now, so he's laughing because we got one of his favorite shows, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, guys, I mentioned that because there's going to be times with your younger clients, be it a little girl or little boy, you may need a book or a tablet or a phone or some type of digital device to distract them in order to finish up your look in a timely fashion. So I've even had to use those kind of devices, guys, for older clients when they just wouldn't, wouldn't keep their head straight. So that's just something that just a little tip on the side. Guys, I'm using this red guard. Remember, this guard is in between the size of the number 2, right, which was that purple guard that we used to initially begin to connect the top section and the sides, and the black guard, which was the number 1. So we're just chipping away at that line. And guys, we'll speed it up right here, just kind of speed things up, but you'll notice that eventually just going back and forth, just back and forth, being very detailed and very focused with your... Can you see how, guys, that line is just beginning to blend away? That's fading. That's all it is, guys. It's just placing in one line and then removing it with whatever guard that's needed. So now, guys, we're going to take that number 1 that created that second section up from the ear, and that's going to be ultimately the guard that's going to remove that line fully that was created to blend the top and the sides. So now just focusing, using that right corner again, just on the line, guys, not the bottom section, not the top. Just taking your time, using your eyes, using great lighting, and fading that thing in, just removing that line. Going to speed things up a little bit, and you already begin to see it, guys, even in black and white, that things are just blending in. And that's all it is, guys. That's all fading is. Doesn't matter if it's on a little boy, an adult male, a female. It doesn't matter, guys. It's all the same principles. It's all the same stuff. Just blending in. This is about placing in lines and removing lines. And you're beginning to see that just kind of all blend and fade away. Now, guys, we're going to use that same number 1 guard, and now we're going to close the lever. Now, by closing the lever, remember this section was placed in with the lever open. So by closing the lever, we're going to begin to chip away at the bottom line. The bottom line that is the bottom of that second section. That's going to begin to remove and blur and blend away that line. Remember, just using that corner of the blade, really, really careful and meticulous and detailed. And guys, eventually you're going to see that line just fade away because the closed guard is slightly more hair you're going to be taking off and just blending things all together. You're going to see it just begin to smooth out and blend all together. Again, guys, that's the number 1 with the closed blade. Now, here's where it gets cool. Remember that 1/2 inch is slightly smaller, right? So this is going to take off a little bit more hair. Now we can try to rush and go in with no blade, no guard on the blade, but thank goodness with them for Wall creating this 1/2 inch blade, or this 1/2 inch, or this half, or number 1. It's called 1/2, so that can be 0.5 if you want to look at it that way. Because now with an open blade, can you see that line just blurring away, guys? Just fading away totally, and ultimately you're not going to see any of those 2 lines that were placed in. We're going to be left with the 1 bottom line that is going to go from hair down to seemingly a bald fade, totally vanishing. So now, guys, we're taking the guard off. And now, so this is just a naked blade, but the blade was open, right? So now we're just gradually closing the lever in order to blend that line away, because by gradually closing, it's not going to cut it all the way bald, but it's going to begin to blur and to blend things away, because remember that bottom section was created with no guard on the blade. So it was just what they call in barbering a naked blade. So now just using the corner of that blade like a pencil, guys, just blending away that bottom line, being careful not to go above the section, using that brush to just lay things down to see how it lives. But ultimately what's going to take that line out is what? The same thing that placed it in. So now we're using the naked edgers, right? Just the trimmers or the edgers, which are used to kind of edge up the hair. But remember, we skinned or bald the sides of the hair with this tool. So this is important to know that it can be used multiple ways. Edge up, create a bald fade, and also as seemingly like a detailer. The clippers are on and they're moving, but they're removing this line at the bottom so we can get this seamless, blurry fade. Now, guys, this is always cool to remember how we started. So this is the left side of his head, guys. I haven't attacked that at all, just to let you know. I did this intentionally to show you the before and after. That is after, and here again, guys, is the before of him. So that gives you an idea of the level of details that we've placed inside of the haircut. Beautiful, beautiful blend. Great model as well.
So now guys, we're going to use this eyebrow razor. Again guys, we use this traditionally to edge up brows, but brows is hair and so is the hairline. So I like this with little ones because sometimes the noise of the trimmers close to their face, close to their ears, really gets them uncomfortable. So I used this years ago, this technique, when I used to cut little boys all day long. Is realize I could get through things because this just feels like a pencil going across their face. It has a guard on it, so it's not sharp, it doesn't hurt them, yet it's sharp enough and it's protected with the blade in order to take care of all of the hair. But it gives a great lining, very similar to how we see the razor or the cutthroat razor being used in the salon. And guys, when you're done with this per client, you just toss it, right? They're like a buck, you know what I mean? Just toss it away and just move on, guys. So it's great. Disposable razors are great for trimming on your female clients, on your natural looks, on your males of any age. So going back in with the clippers, the trimmers, to just make sure that everything is sharp. He is all into that Ninja Turtles right there. Whatever gets the job done. So I just use one of my older phones and he thinks it's his phone. And you know, I would have one of these on deck in the salon if you do little ones often, and they just lock in. By the time they realize what's going on, the haircut or the hairstyle is done. So now, and get him all finished up. So guys, we pulled out the pick right now and just picking everything up. Of course, no one likes this, but he worked with us guys and kind of picked things up. And he actually likes a little bit of hair on the top. We know a lot of the boys and even adults right now, guys, are really digging lengthier tops to do texture and twist and curls. But we're going to use the clippers all the way closed, right, and just kind of detail with our eyes to really shape things up, almost like a little flat top, where we're going to kind of mess things up and make it a little textured up top. But this helps to kind of pick everything out and to go ahead and just detail things to make it very neat. Check out that blend, guys, even in black and white. I mean, just super polished, faded in. And remember guys, this is the left side, so this is the second side that we did to connect it together, and things are super duper polished, guys. That's going to last, you know, at least about a good 2 weeks, and it's just going to grow out all blended together. So mom and dad doesn't have to worry about a haircut for at least about 2 weeks.